Manchester United have opened serious contract negotiations with Harry Kane. So far, the only club from Chelsea, Manchester City, and United who are interested in signing Harry Kane to hold legitimate conversations with the representatives to talk about how much it would cost to bring Harry Kane to their club. That is Manchester United. We're covering that in more detail, taking your calls. We're just going to look at Arsenal that are setting up a £40 million move for a creative midfield player this summer. The Raphael Varane saga continues as well. But hit that like button, hit the share button. Here we go. Good morning and welcome back to the Football Terrace. We're talking Arsenal's £40 million move for Buendia. Harry Kane's transfer saga is going to continue to roll along. Big developments overnight in relation to that deal. We want to take your views. We want to take your opinions on that. Man United have offered him a mammoth, a mega contract and reportedly are winning the race right now to sign him. That's a report. We'll go into it in more detail as well. We're going to talk Robert Lewandowski. Supposedly had interest from Man United and Paris Saint-Germain in recent months, but is only listening to offers only listen to offers from Real Madrid if he is to leave Bayern Munich. A lot of talk on social this morning about Jadon Sancho. There's no update on that deal. United leading the race. That's it. We'll wait to the end of the season to see what transpires, but there is no new news in relation to Jadon Sancho. Raphael Varane is still the main centre-back choice for Man United. Fabrizio Romano confirmed this yesterday. We want to take your calls and delve into all of that with you this morning. But I do want to start with the news that Man United, the headline this morning here on Give Me Sport is Man United ahead of Manchester City and Chelsea after serious negotiations. It says here that Manchester United's, I want to get this right here. It says, Manchester United are the only club so far to have entered into serious negotiations with Harry Kane's representative regarding a contract which could be worth around £300,000 a week, a substantial upgrade to what he earns at Tottenham. Sources suggest that at least for the time being that Manchester United are ahead of the race to sign Harry Kane, with the likes of Chelsea and City yet to open talks over a potential contract. And these stories are going to continue to fluctuate and come in this way. Yesterday, it was very much that Chelsea were willing to offer. The Independent said Chelsea have said they're willing to offer the 150 million. The claims from Fabrizio that Man City are the favourites because that is where Harry Kane wants to go. But now it appears that Man United are the team that have made the first move towards the player. They've reached out to the representation to say, we're willing to pay £300,000 a week. And in terms of the overall cost of that deal, you're looking at a total cost of around £80 million just in salary over the course of that contract for Harry Kane. And I want to gauge people's views and opinions. It's around £300,000 a week for a 5-year period. It's around circa 80 million quid. What are your views and what are your opinions on this news? Would that represent good business for Manchester United? Would it represent good business for Tottenham in relation to moving that? You know, does it, if he's going to leave Tottenham, are Man United the best of a bad bunch? What's your view and opinion? I really want to know. In the other news this morning, Arsenal fans, you've had interest for a number of weeks now, for a number of months now, really, in Emil Buendia from Norwich City. According to Charles Watts, Arsenal chief Edu is keen to sign Buendia amid doubts over whether or not the Gunners can land Odegaard. There's also a lot of doubts whether Odegaard's even good enough for Arsenal. Reports suggest that a bid of £40 million could be enough to see him switch from, I want to say Carrow Road is where Norwich City played, but from Carrow Road to the Emirates Stadium this season. Is that the level of player? Is that the level of quality that you Arsenal fans want? I want to take your calls. I want to gauge your opinions as well. A few people here talking about Lewandowski. Lewandowski contacted over a stunning move. You have to be very mindful of the story behind this news. So I went to the source today, and it says here that Lewandowski passes up PSG and United and will only listen to Real Madrid. So it is true that Premier League clubs have approached Robert Lewandowski about the possibility of him coming to the shores. But there is no mileage in it because he doesn't want to come here. If he leaves Bayern Munich, he wants to go to Real Madrid. So there's interest from Premier League clubs, but it's almost a certainty at this point. Almost a certainty at this point that he will not be. He will not be a Premier League player next year, Robert Lewandowski. I wanted to touch on that news really briefly this morning because I've seen it kind of pushed out there across socials that could be the case. Terry, today is my birthday. Can I get a shout out? Of course you can, Malik. There's your shirt. Shout out, my guy. So happy birthday to you. Hope you're having a great day. I really, really do. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a brand new membership tiering process starting on Monday. I'm going to be submitting the tiering later on today. But to give you, I'll give you a breakdown of it. I know a lot of people have been asking about what it is, how it works. So essentially, we're creating a brand new member tiering system for the Football Terrace, fairly similar, excuse me, to what we have in place now. But there's going to be some slight subtle changes and the kind of packages that are going to be on offer. What's going to be available to you day to day is going to increase. I'm very fortunate and very lucky to be going full time onto YouTube very soon. So I'm going to be giving so much more of my time back to the Football Terrace community. We're still going to have 4 tiers: Academy, Squad Member, First Team Member, and Legend and Superfan membership. On that, the perks are going to include customized, exclusive Football Terrace, First Team and Gold and Legendary member scarves. We're going to be creating up private WhatsApp groups that I'm going to be in daily, texting and sharing information. We're doing video posts and voice notes into as well. We are going to be starting something very, very soon, which is going to benefit the Legendary member category when it comes out. But essentially, you see me now in the studio. As of next season, this is going to be called Football Terrace Home. Me when I'm at home, essentially. We are going to be doing a number of at-location shoots. Football Terrace away. We're going to be doing our shows, transfer videos, match reaction shows, live from sports cafes, bars, auditoriums, live locations outside of stadiums if we get the permissions from the local councils. When we do that, our Legend members will get free access to be able to come and watch the show live and interact with us. That we shared the location ahead of time that nobody else will have revealed to them until the day of these shoots. Plus many, many more member-only polls, member-only access to the big interviews, exclusive footage and content early from the likes of ourselves and Give Me Sport. So if you want to become a member of the Football Terrace, you can either do it now or maybe wait till Monday until the new ones are launched and you can see what they look like. So yeah, big shout out to all of our members. We've got lots of plans coming down the line for each and every single one of you. So there's loads that are going to be available, and the prices range. The prices range from 99p per month right up to the new price for the Superfan and Legend category, which will be $12.99. But for the $12.99, you get so much bang for your buck. As I've said, if you do the full package on Monday, you get loyalty badges, the emojis, discount on merchandise when the merchandise comes out. You get the shout outs in videos, connection. We follow you on all your social media platforms, and you get member only live chats. You get early access to new videos. You get behind the scenes photos and updates about the development of Football Terrace shows, member only polls, member only chats during the new show coming out called The Big Interviews, exclusive First Team Football Terrace scarves, and or the Legendary members. You'll get that as well. Monthly Legend live only stream. So there's going to be a monthly stream per month for Legendary members only. Private WhatsApp group, priority replies on comments, plus access to the new Football Terrace away day shoots that we're going to be doing. So there is a legitimate package that's coming for you. We want to give you a lot back. We want to, thanking you for giving us so much of, your hard-earned money. It means a great deal to us. So we're going to be committing to that and developing that over the course of the year. And there's more to be added to that as well. More to be added to that as well. Someone here says, Terry, keep it a bit more amateurist. Do you know what's interesting about that point? As much as we're developing the content and the guests, the essence of the terrace will remain. So even if it looks professional, the way we conduct ourselves will be the same. The Football Terrace will not change in relation to how we are. It's just going to be a bit more structured and more planned. Sorry, I thought I could hear the kids crying. The kids are taking a little nap now. That's why I can stream. Daddy by himself as it stands right now. Let's get back. To talking about these transfers. The first one I'm going to focus on in a bit more detail is the Give Me Sport article this morning, or it came out actually at 9 p.m. last night. The Man United are ahead of Man City and Chelsea in their pursuit of Harry Kane. This news and information has come from Ian McGarry, who has said, and I'll quote him here, he says, "Our information is that Manchester United are the only club so far to have entered into serious negotiations with Kane's representatives regarding a contract which is going to be worth around £300,000 per week." He went on to say that Manchester United are ahead of the race to sign Kane, with Chelsea and City yet to open talks about a potential contract. And I think that is significant. And the reason I say that is this. For a moment, whether or not you think Harry Kane's right or wrong is an aside at the moment. When it comes to signing a player, there's some real key factors. Are the club willing to pay the asking price? Does the player want to join? These two things can fluctuate and change depending upon who's serious or not. So Chelsea might turn around and say, we're going to put the 150 up, but will they actually put the 150 up? Man City may be the preferred place for Harry Kane to go. But what if Harry Kane don't offer a suitable amount of money to to Tottenham? It can change a player's mind. We've seen this before. It can change a player's mind because players want to be taken seriously. They want to know that a club legitimately, genuinely, 100% wants them to be a key component of that football club. I personally think Manchester United are behind the curve. I think Chelsea have the money and the squad position, and Manchester City are more desirable from Harry Kane's point of view. There's no doubt about that whatsoever in my mind. But that doesn't mean the landscape can't change. What does appear to be interesting here is that no matter what journalist you speak to, Manchester United is showing genuine interest in trying to sign Harry Kane. Manchester United are going out of their way to try and get a deal done to bring him to Old Trafford next year. My only hope is that doesn't stop us from going after the most priority position, in my opinion, at Old Trafford this summer, and that is the signing of Jadon Sancho. There are reports this morning that deal may have hit some snags. There are reports this morning that there may be problems with that deal. That is simply categorically not true. There are no issues with Jadon Sancho to Man United. Man United are leading the race. Jadon Sancho wants to join. There's a squad position. United believe that they're going to be putting in an adequate bid at the end of the season to try and get this deal done. Jadon Sancho and Borussia Dortmund are looking to get this deal concluded before the beginning of the Euros that start, by the way, in just under 3 weeks' time. Only time will tell if Man United are serious. And if Man United put a bid of between 75 and 85 million pounds in between now and the 11th of June, it is highly likely and highly plausible that Manchester United will land Jadon Sancho. My only concern about the Harry Kane deal is that going to be the deal that stops Jadon Sancho from coming in? Because I'm sure Man United fans in themselves will be frustrated with that if that was indeed the case. The Harry Kane saga is going to drag on all summer. There are many that think he'll remain at Tottenham for at least another year. I think that in itself is a possibility because I don't know if I don't think Man United have got the money to make the actual signing. Man United have got to hope that nobody else comes in for Kane and he pushes harder for a move away to lower that asking price. Man City, I don't believe they're going to pay over £100 million for any one individual player. So that may be a no-go this summer. And will Spurs succumb to the pressures of Chelsea? There's so many moving points. There's no direct place that he wants. There's no obvious club for him, no obvious candidate in my view in terms of the deal being plausible to get done. But I do want your views and opinions on that. Arsenal fans, Buendia to Arsenal this summer. Would that represent good business in your eyes? I want all of your views. I want all of your opinions. But do me a big favor right now. Please hit that like button. Please share this stream on your social media platforms, especially Facebook, especially your private WhatsApp groups. Encourage your friends, your family, your followers, people around you to come and have a listen, leave a comment, to get involved with the Football Terrace moving forward. Griezmann for Kane's swap deal. Do you know, I think it's an interesting one. I don't think Kane wants to go abroad. And if Kane doesn't want to go abroad, that's also a problem as well. We're going to share the StreamYard link if you want to phone in and have your say right now. Arsenal fans, United fans, Chelsea fans, Tell us what you think and feel about all this news that has come out this morning. Simon here says, not buying a centre-back and a winger will be like putting lipstick on a pig. The board are clueless if they do anything like that. Listen, I hear you. We spoke earlier in the show, Raphael Varane's the number one centre. If someone like Raphael Varane can be picked up for this 40 million, like if we sound Raphael Varane, Sancho and Harry Kane, then I'm not worried. My problem is the information we were given just over a week or so ago by Dean Jones, who's one of the leading football journalists on planet Earth. Man United don't have the money for Declan Rice. So how and what and where are we getting this money from for Harry Kane? Unless it's a type of glamour signing that makes the Glazers go out of their way to bring him in, I don't know. It just tells me, it makes me fearful. If we had the money and money wasn't the problem, then I wouldn't be too bothered. It just doesn't feel right to me. I mean, do you know what? If the Glazers want to get people back on side, though, this won't happen. But sell some shares and pump the money into the club and buy Sancho, Harry Kane, Varane, and Declan Rice. Trust me, those green and gold scarves will disappear pretty quickly if that was to be the case. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Thank you, Noz, for asking everyone to get those likes up. Terry Griscon said, if we get Champions League football, Liverpool want Kylian Mbappe. Liverpool can afford Kylian Mbappe. Liverpool can afford Kylian Mbappe. We had Kieran Maguire on the show over a year ago talking about how it is plausible. Liverpool have money. FSG have money. It's just being willing to spend it. Liverpool have the pulling power. They have the manager. They have the stadium. They have the history. They have the heritage. Liverpool have everything possible to sign Kylian Mbappe. It's whether or not they're willing to sign the checkbook. That's the only thing holding this deal back. But they can get it done from every stance. Just will they or not? Alex here says, Man United can't afford both Kane and Sancho. So Sancho will come to Chelsea. We will sell Ziyech, sell Tammy, Batshuayi, buy Lukaku, sell Alonso, Emerson, and buy Pereira. Sorry, I want to pronounce that right. Pedraza from Villarreal. You lot better be scared, is what Alex thinks. Listen, we're going to go to some calls now. We're going to see what you think. Get your super chat questions in as well. Any questions you want to ask me about the transfer window, any thoughts and feelings you have about it, get them into us right now. But make sure that like button is being hit. Make sure you're sharing this stream, as we say. First caller of the day is going to be Satan's favorite devil. Welcome back to the terrace, mate. What are you saying?
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm very, very well, mate. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, to see that Arsenal are generally interested in what I think is going to be the steal of the summer transfer window. I think Buendia, wherever he ends up, I mean, the profit you make, it's an absolute steal. I think he's the right winger Man United should go for. I feel like we've spent so much time wasting, valuable, precious time on Jadon Sancho. And now we're entering a season where there's going to be a lot of very strict competition to be able to get his signature. And through all the hype, through all the time, I feel like we've lost sight of the fact that we're buying a 21-year-old that's coming from Bundesliga. Like, people think Sancho is genuinely going to come and immediately become the star. Like, he's a youngster, and it's like an investment to the future. I think Buendia is ready for the now. He's already proven that he can do things in the Premier League. Be a much better deal, in my opinion.
I'm trying to compute what you've said there. You honestly think Buendia would be a better signing for Man United than Sancho? Because Sancho, are you discounting the amount of goals, the amount of chances, the amount of goals that Sancho has scored and created, the amount of chances he created? You think Buendia is better than him?
Yeah, Buendia has over 30 goal contributions this season in the Championship. He's just as good of a chance creator, in my opinion, and he's proven that he can actually do it in the Premier League. And plus, he's the kind of player that you buy, and then you can move forward and buy other players. You know what I mean? Like, Sancho, it takes an immediate hit on whatever budget you have. Buendia is someone that, a valuable signing that you can make and add then some on top of that.
So what you're saying is, Do you think Buendia is an actually better player than Sancho, though?
No, I think Sancho's ceiling is way higher, but
Okay,
you
so
need
what you're
immediate
saying is
results.
you can buy Buendia now that's there, that he'll create, he'll score, and then use the money saved to maybe go after a Harry Kane or someone.
Exactly, yeah. Sancho's a superstar, but I think you can find superstars elsewhere. Like, I mean, we have Rashford and Greenwood; those are two potential superstars there as well. So yeah.
I mean, that it's an interesting take. Listen, thank you very much for calling in and having your say.
No
Really
problem.
appreciate it, bro. Thank you, viewers. Do you agree? Should Man United go after a Buendia? Should Manchester United be going after a Rafinha? I know Neto's injured, but someone of that level, a 30-40 million pound player, and then maybe taking the 40-50 million pounds saved on the Sancho deal and investing it elsewhere in the team. Maybe a Declan Rice, maybe a Harry Kane. I want your views and opinions on that. Shane here with a super chat says, I would love to have Kane at United, but there is no point in having a star for the Christmas tree without having a tree, is what Shane has said. Not a lot of people here agreeing. Freya is free. Of course, Freya is free. She's just chilling now. She's playing some Mickey Mouse, literally some Mickey Mouse game on her thing. Hi, Freya. Say hi to everyone. Wave. Hi. There she is. There's my baby girl doing her thing. Let's go next to Max. Max is the Man United fan. What you saying, Max?
Hi Terry, I hope you're good, bro. Yeah, I want to talk about. I'm not actually happy with the Harry Kane situation. If we are going to sign him, I actually disagree with it because I think many United fans can agree with the fact that a right winger, CDM, and the centre back is a priority. Don't you agree, Terry?
No, I do. I was listening. I had to sort my daughter's tablet
Yeah,
out working. No, I agree with you. I do think they're a priority over Harry Kane. I really do. The fact, though, that Ian McGarry has made this big claim this morning that United have entered these negotiations. The fact that we're talking to his representatives tells me we're trying to get a deal done. Like,
yeah.
how concerned are you as a Man United fan that we are pushing for this Harry Kane deal, especially as, in my opinion, I think Man City and Chelsea have more of a chance. So we might spend a lot of time chasing Kane and never actually land him.
Yeah. Um, yeah, exactly what you said. Before I touch on what my opinion is, before Harry Kane is a fantastic striker, and we all can agree that he is one of the best, if not the best striker in the world. So it's not me saying that he's not good stuff, but as you said, Terry, it can be like that. Oh, we will spend the whole summer trying to get him. City come out of nowhere and get him, and we have wasted our whole summer. If we get Harry Kane, that tells me that we will not get Sancho or other position because Harry Kane will cost minimum 120 million. I think. I don't know. I'm not 100%. So if we, I'm not happy. This is just the Glazers trying to sign a superstar and trying to calm down the fans. But if this happens, I really hope the fans can wake up and see what the Glazers are trying to do. They are trying to sign an English superstar and trying to calm those down. Listen, Jadon Sancho is the same thing, but at least he's placed in a position that we desperately need. We just gave Cavani a new contract. Are we going to backstab him like that? He stayed because of the fact that he thinks he will get playing time next season. And if we get Kane, then what's the point of Cavani being here? And we have also Mason, which we are trying to get him in the striker position. So yeah, that's my opinion, Terry.
Mate, listen, I completely hear what you're saying. 1 second. What are you saying, darling? What's the matter? Your tablet's not working. Oh, well, what have you done to this? That's a madness. I don't know what she's done. Hang on, let me do this. There you go, sweetheart. Look, there you go. What did you say? That's all right. I know what kids press buttons they shouldn't press. I get where you're coming from, mate. Harry Kane as a signing excites me, but in the cold light of day, I think we have other positions that are a bigger priority for us that I want us to focus on. There's no doubt about it at all. Listen, bro, thank you very much for calling in and having your say this morning. Really appreciate that. Top man. Thank you. If you want to phone in, we've shared the link. We've shared this link a few times in the live comment section. I'll share it again because some of you are asking for it on there. Can you do me a favor, sweetheart? Can you go sit on the chair, baby? Can you go sit in the chair for me? Be a good girl. No, you just go sit on the chair. Good girl, she's engrossed. Next on the show, we're going to get Matt on to have his say. What you saying, Matt?
Morning, Terry. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very, very good, thank you. What's your take on this Harry Kane news this morning? That
Look,
United have entered these contract negotiations. They've offered an £80 million contract to Harry Kane. Give me your thoughts.
I think it's important for United to be at the table. I think that's the whole point of this story is United have to be there to say, look, we're interested. It's Harry Kane. The same thing with Harry Kane and Sancho. They're both fantastic players, and undoubtedly they would improve Man United. Because they are just they are star quality. But as the guy said in that chat before, it was you can't have a star without a tree. You need the foundations first. I feel like we shouldn't. If we're going to get these deals done, they have to be done before the Euros because we can't leave them dragging on to the 11th hour on the transfer window because we'll miss out on the the signings we really need.
Yeah, there's
for me, if it drags on, it drags on. We're stuck.
There's a comment here that says, "Anybody getting Alexis Sanchez vibes?" And that's where I'm at. I'm definitely picking up those vibes.
It's a massive contract they're going to offer him, and Spurs. I think he's on like 70 grand a week at Spurs, which you think of Harry Kane and that kind of price. That's nothing. It's a bare minimum that they could offer him, but it's possibly it's the same with the Haaland deal a little bit. When Haaland was in those rumours before the European Super League, and we were all saying, where's his money coming from? Obviously, it's coming from the Super League. That's why Mourinho was going to all the different clubs that were from it. But it was important United had to be at the table to show their ambition, and that's the only reason we're hearing these stories. I think, as far as again, as much as a fantastic player, you would improve Man United massively. We have to be at the table because if you're not there, then it just shows a lack of ambition from the Glazers. Personally, the story to me, it's not a spin story. I think we genuinely probably are at Harry Kane's table saying, look, we'll give you 300 grand a week. But it's not, I don't think they have any intention of signing him in a striker position. I think they need, like Ollie said in his press conference, or like his post-match interview, when they said, Kane's available. Was he a player that you might look at now? Cavani's extended his deal. He said, well, look, I'm interested in bringing in a forward. He didn't necessarily say a central striker. He said a forward. And to me,
do you know what it is? It's a situation. I can put Cavani aside because if we had adequate centre backs and CDMs and we re-signed Cavani and then Kane became available, I wouldn't mind us going for him because sometimes you just have to strike while the iron is hot. You have to make that move now rather than moving out on him. But it's the fact that it's not our priority, I feel like signing Harry Kane is like my daughter behind me there. She's starving hungry. And instead of me buying her, a plate of nutritious food, I go and buy her a brand new bike. It's like, great, that's fun. That's brilliant. But it's not going to stop her from being hungry. She might, for a half an hour, she's going to play on the bike and she's going to be excited. And she's going to forget that she's got an empty stomach. But then she's going to stop playing with the bike. The novelty's going to wear off. And the home truths are going to land in. I'm starving still, Dad. And Man United is still going to be starving from a squad point of view. If we sign Kane, but we end up addressing the other areas, great. The fear for Man United fans is that we sign Kane and we don't address those other areas and we score loads of goals, but we're still too loose at the back. Matt, great coming on. Having your say. It's an amazing take Matt just put out there. Signing Harry Kane is a lack of ambition for Man United. It's almost, I get excited about the transfer market. I really do. I love transfers. I feel like the Man United owners are playing football manager. Legitimately, it's like they're playing football manager. They don't care about what's actually needed at the club. It's, what's going to create the biggest splash? What's going to be the biggest signing this summer rather than the most essential? That's how I feel about that. Don't buy Harry Kane for your daughter. Pretty much. Next on the show, we're going to get Cal on to have you say, morning, Cal. What you saying, buddy?
You all right, Terry? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm very well. Who do you support, mate?
United, obviously.
I thought so, but I wanted to double check. What's your take on this news this morning? £80 million contract offered to Harry Kane.
Terry, if I'm being honest, as a United fan, as much as Kane is one of the best strikers in the world, I don't really want Kane at United, and I'll tell you for why now. Number one, we've given Cavani a new contract. Yeah, it's a 1 year deal, another 1 year deal. But we've got Martial coming back now, yeah? And I've heard so much stick on Martial's name because of his performance last season, yeah? Who knows, yeah? He can come back next season, yeah? And be outstanding again like he was the other season before. So,
yeah.
If we're gonna waste that much money on one striker, yeah, why can't we invest that money on a centre back and a CDM?
Mate, I agree with you on so many points that you've just raised and just made there. I think that Manchester United, just we said in the previous call, are run poorly. I totally. And these are the. Do you know what is funny? When you're an outsider looking in, these are the kind of decisions that make people think we're ungrateful. You're linked. You just offered Harry Kane £80 million. I wish my club had £80 million to spend on one player's salaries. I don't think people realize that it isn't about how much money we spend. It's the time, the care, the attention to building the right squad for us. And in fairness, look, I slagged off the Cavani deal in the summer because it reeked of Di Maria, it reeked of Falcao. And it turned out to be very, very good indeed. But that doesn't mean this will be.
Yeah, I agree on that as well. Like, because if we get Kane, yeah, we don't know how long we'll be able to have Kane in the squad for, because he could get injured, or because of his age, he could leave like in the next 2-3 seasons. But if we've got Cavani for next season, along with Martial, and we've got Martial going forwards, who knows that after we've got rid of Cavani, we could get not a better striker like Kane, but like someone like on Martial kind of Jamie Vardy kind of stats kind of thing. Like this, it's sort of, people think, yeah, like because Kane is like one of the best, he's gonna perform to his greatest at United. Yeah, you don't know that though, because every player has different sort of perspectives, like for which club they go to and stuff. So he could come to United, and who knows, he could be a flop. We don't know that.
Well, I mean, this could. I think that's you're right. I mean, that can happen to any player that you sign or buy. There is no doubt about that whatsoever. When it's a big money signing, it just always protrudes more. It stands out more when it doesn't go right compared to a smaller one. Cal, thank you for calling in, mate, and having your say. Top man. Thank you. Yes, Freya, Lady Freya. Yes. Did you all hear that? She just told me basically shut up because she can't hear her tablet. In fairness, she's playing like educational. Do you want listen to it? Do you want me to be quiet? You want Daddy to be quiet? Is Daddy being too noisy? Yeah. Can you hear that? On my word. Next on the show, we're gonna get Francisco. It's one of my favorite names in the whole world, Francisco. What you saying, bro? Oh no, wrong person. Francisco, how you doing?
Hey, bro. Sorry, 1 second. I just had to unmute. I'm actually thinking between whether or not Liverpool should go for Sancho or whether or not we should try to entertain also this Kane deal, because I'm thinking Sancho could potentially slot into our front four. He can rotate, because all of our front three right now can play all the different positions. Actually, front four if you include Jota. So if you get Sancho there, you can pretty much have like a carousel where either one can play as a cam or as a striker, left mid, right wing, left wing. So I don't know which one to go for. Do we go an out-and-out gunman like Kane, or do we get Sancho, who could potentially, fit into the rotation and provide maybe a bigger boost? Plus, he's younger and will potentially have a higher resale value if he wants to go. Because I see he has almost like Neymar-esque, almost Messi vibes to him in the sense of the output he has and the audacity he has with the ball, the flair, etc. So I'm thinking Sancho might be good.
I hear you. Sancho for me is so disrespected. And when I say he's disrespected, I'm talking about the fact that he's 21, and what he's achieved so far, just in terms of his individual performances, the way he plays, the way he's delivered, it's unprecedented. And I mean that in the sense of no player in the top 4 leagues in Europe, from debut to their 21 years of age, so over their first 3 years, from a teenager to their 21, has created and scored the same amount of goals as Jadon Sancho. No one has ever created over 20 goals per season in their first 3 seasons as a professional, from debut in the top 4 leagues. Never been done. Never ever been done by a player. And for me, I still honestly, if you right now said, Terry, let's just say Man United have sorted out centre back and sorted out CDM, and it's like you can get Jadon or you can get Harry Kane. Which one are you picking? I am picking Jadon Sancho. I think Jadon Sancho will create and score for us 35, 40 goals a season.
Absolutely. And I think as well, people are sleeping on him.
Yeah.
Because his potential, his ceiling is much higher. Like Kane is at his ceiling now, and he's getting what 25. Actually, right now he's on 35 goals and assists. So he's of course doing absolute wonders at Spurs, and that's any other bigger club he could potentially get higher. But Jadon, considering he's getting already 30 plus for 3 seasons on a bounce, and he's got way more years to go, his ceiling is. It's actually scary to think about. Like he could potentially be the next Messi, so to speak. Potentially.
110%. I mean, in terms of like the Messis and Ronaldos, their outputs I always feel like have kind of skewed the world in terms of how we view players. But Sancho started. I mean, Sancho, Mbappe, and Haaland. These 3. What I love about all 3 of these players is that they are technically good. They are good footballers to watch. They pass the eye test, but they are delivering outputs at the same time. And I know they're very lucky, those 3 players, because they play in a position where your main job is a tangible output. So when you're a holding midfield player, it's all about, yes, there's interceptions and recoveries and stuff, but it's all about ball retention, and that's kind of harder to quantify. Setting up chances and scoring goals, it's so simplistic, it's so easy to see. And these 3 have started off, they're giving themselves, honestly, Mbappe, Haaland, Sancho, those 3, maybe Phil Foden will join that ranking as well. But those 3 essentially for me have given themselves a foundation in their early career to go on to be 3 of the greatest ever players to play football in Europe ever, at any level, at any time. Harry Kane's very, very good. I think he's brilliant. I would not pick him over Jadon Sancho for love nor money. I totally wouldn't. Listen, great call, mate. Thank you for coming on and having your mate. Really appreciate it. Next up, we spoke actually this morning I did a Spaces for the first time on Twitter. I felt very, very old trying to work out how to do it. But we've got Billy here. Billy Barnes is here. He's a Liverpool fan. What are you saying, mate?
Yeah, you're right, Terry. Hold on me. Just what's the news today? Sorry, just.
Yep. So essentially, Ian McGarry has claimed that Man United have had talks with Harry Kane and have offered Harry Kane, well, not directly with him, with his representatives, and have offered him an £80 million contract, circa £300,000 a week. No other club has actually spoke to Harry Kane's people yet. So I'm trying to gauge people's views and opinions on what Man United have done.
No, man. I think Sancho's the way. Like, even as a Liverpool fan, like, I think you've got players in your club that could fill in at striker, but Sancho just gives you so much more. Like, the right-hand side at United, I was thinking, before Solskjaer come in, who did you have on the right? I remember the last player was like Valencia or something.
Valencia replaced Cristiano Ronaldo, and we kind of fluctuated between Valencia and Nani for a couple of years. But I actually looked at a stat the other day, and I don't have it top of my head. Valencia played more than 70% of his games for Man United at right back. He had a good 18 months, 2 years at right midfield, but he was just good. Nani was just good. Since those, and the last 4 or 5 years especially, we've had no one there that's been good enough.
Before Dan James, who is it? I can't actually remember.
Massa played there a lot.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's just the one position. I think obviously, I think midfield and that right-hand position for United is what you should focus on mainly. Like, centre-back is a problem, sort of, but, like, you've got Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly, Twansby's good prospect, McTominay can fill in. You've got enough there, realistically. If you fix up, get consistency on the right-hand side, I think you're sorted. Like, top 4 guaranteed.
I hear you on that completely. Listen, Billy, top man, thanks for calling in and having your say. Everyone who's tuning in, make sure you're hitting that like button for us right now. Share the stream on your social media platforms, but write a little message. Encourage people to come along and have a watch. It really supports us massively. We're getting KJ on very, very soon. Before that, we're going to get Liam Liam Morrissey on to have his say. What are you saying, Liam?
You're right, Terry. Yeah, I was just gonna speak about the Hall of Fame thing this morning. There's a lot of people saying about Gerrard shouldn't be included in it because he's not won a title,
I've made a similar claim. Yes.
which I think is a fair argument actually, because I don't really see how you can be included in the Hall of Fame if you've not won a Premier League. But I think it's because it was voted for by the fans, whereas I think if it was voted for by the league, then Gerrard probably wouldn't have got in it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see. I want to see the votes. I want to see how many votes happen because there are more Man United, Arsenal, and Chelsea fans in England voting than there are Liverpool fans, and I don't see how. I don't believe Gerrard's got more votes than some of those other people, in my opinion. But my view, very much on Gerrard being in, was simple. I think Gerrard deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He just shouldn't be inducted before Ashley Cole, before John Terry, before Rio Ferdinand, before Paul Scholes, just to name four. And the reason, and a lot of people are like throwing weird things at me this morning. I had one guy say, "Oh, he said Morata should be in before Gerrard because Morata won a league title." No, I'm talking about comparative players. So Ashley Cole, Petr Cech, John Terry. Just to name, I'm going to leave Man United players out of it. Those three players were as good at their jobs as centre backs, left backs, and goalkeepers as Gerrard was a midfielder. Plus, they won the league on multiple occasions. I just think it's disrespectful and disingenuous to them and their greatness to not include them before him. Gerrard deserves a place in the Hall of Fame. He was a sensational football player. The problem is when you get into these debates, people get the knickers in a twist. Oh, what are you trying to say? Like Luke Chadwick's better than Gerrard because he's got a Premier League winners medal. It's like, nah, bro. You're literally misconstruing the point being made here. People's frustration is the order of the inductions. But we know why it's been done this way. Because they want to keep as many. I wouldn't be surprised in the next 3 or 4 inductions if you got Matt Letizia, if there's a Spurs player that's put in there, because you almost get this. They want to try and get as many clubs involved as possible early on because it keeps everybody interested. And then what they'll do is they'll go away from inducting just players and they'll look to do managers. We know Fergie will go in first, but then they'll probably pick a kind of, I wouldn't be surprised if they threw an Alan Kirbishley in there or something just to keep everybody kind of interested in what's going on rather than it just being like a top 6 bias that will frustrate people. But yeah, look, it is what it is. Look, Gerrard's a great player. Him being in there isn't the problem. I just think it was wrong for him to be inducted before particular other players. But Liam, thank you very much for your call this morning, mate. Really appreciate that, buddy. Top man. Shane here, the super chat says, if we get Kane and the Glazers, if we get Kane and the Glazers don't invest in the rest of the team, it proves nothing has changed. Broken promises again. It will prove to me that they're out of touch. Above and beyond everything else, it proves they're out of touch, that they are not listening, that they don't care about us as fans. That's what it would prove to me. Next up, my guy's back with us this morning. KJ's here. What you saying? Oh, wrong person. KJ, what you saying, bro?
Listen, if we're going to give anyone an improved contract at that size, you got to make sure you get Paul Pogba down first. Bringing in Harry Kane on 300k, how is that going to disrupt our wage bill? How's that going to disrupt our hierarchy of the players? Like Jadon Sancho coming in on what the 210, the 250s reported he's wanting. He's not disrupting stuff because he's really on par with Martial, Rashford, and those guys there. But Harry Kane coming in, Paul Pogba deserves his new contract. You know what I'm saying? Get that sorted first. I'm sorry, for me, there's just so many other things that we need to do before we sign Harry Kane. And do I think this is gospel truth and it's going to happen? No. Oh, no. What's Freya doing?
Yeah, keep going, bro. I can still hear you. It's cool.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, there's other things I would rather us do than sign Harry Kane at the moment. Jadon Sancho, Pogba new contract, fixing the stadium, getting new coaching staff for set pieces and attacking play. Like, there's so much more things that are more important than Harry Kane right now. And if we do sign him, it's just trying to appease the fans and actually not focusing on the football once again, which is not it.
Mate, I couldn't agree with you more. And a lot of people are going to try and there's lots of journalists reporting every what I've noticed with the Harry Kane stuff is the journalists all report. Some journalists are specific to certain clubs, some are more generic, and the stories are all, I wouldn't say half truths, but they're all kind of like Chelsea are willing to put the money up, but that's the only part of the story. Man City are the favourites because Harry Kane wants to join them. That's the only part of the story. Man United have spoke to the representatives, but that's the only part of the story. There isn't a kind of collective story of Chelsea are willing to put the money up. They've spoken to the player, and Harry Kane wants to join them. There is no sort of three-pronged story where it looks plausible that a deal is going to happen, if that makes sense. So I still feel like we're wasting our time. If this is true, what Ian McGarry has said, I feel like we're wasting our time talking to him. I don't even think we have the money. I think that we're doing it in this hope that nobody else offers the right money, and that maybe we can tempt Harry Kane into doing an official transfer request and being a little bit of a naughty boy to get himself away so we can lower the price. But then my question would be, at what cost is that going to be to our club? Is Pogba going to get his renewal? You know, are we going to sign Jadon Sancho? Will we address the centre-back problems that we've got and the midfield problems? That is a genuine question that Man United fans shouldn't be sidetracked by. And a lot of the Man United fans I'm seeing really want this deal. Do you want to know the irony, bruv? There are a lot of the same people that are like, this season isn't progression, Ollie ain't good enough, rare tear tear, but they're suddenly, we should be getting Harry Kane at all costs. And it's like, they're so desperate just to win a trophy, a major trophy. And Harry Kane in the short term, theoretically, could shoot us to a Premier League title. I don't think that's a football take that's warped. It could happen. He could come in and just have a RVP first season and score 40 Premier League goals for us. And right. She spins it around, but it's the chair leans back and it smacked her in the head and pushed her head against the wall. You okay? Oh. You right? It didn't hurt you. Okay, cool.
Hey, man, she's showing more toughness than some of the players on the pitch, fam. You know what I'm saying?
Harder than she's tougher than Linda.
Fam, put Freya at centre back, fam. You know what I'm saying?
She nutted a gaming chair and a wall at the same time. But yeah, do you get my point? It's like he could do that. But then in 18 months, 2 years, the holes are going to come to fruition again. You paper over those cracks. You know what I mean? Put a new wallpaper up. It might make my house look nice, but it won't stop the subsidence. And that's my concern with some people. They're pushing for this Harry Kane deal, but they're not looking beyond the end of their nose at the actual problems at Manchester United.
Yeah, and that's Michelle. And it's like my guy here with the super chat. I never said Sancho is not better than Martial. I said in terms of wage structure, he will be level with Martial in terms of what wages he earns. It's got nothing to do with player ability, everything to do with how the wages are structured. It just is what it is. But yeah, like we really and truly, this, like I said, there's so many more things we need to do. We have got holes in the roof. We've got training. We've got staff that can't teach how to defend set pieces. We've got DM centre back, right back cover, right wing. We need a whole new midfield. You know what I mean? Like a whole new midfield needs to get sorted. Harry Kane is not solving that. Harry Kane is not solving the fact that we've got Mandem at the back who can't defend at times. We've got a midfield who can't pass. We've got a right wing that's non-existent. He doesn't fix that. And I'm tired of Glazonomics and paper covering the cracks with flashy signings. Let's get things sorted so we have the basis and the foundation to go sign a Harry Kane, Haaland-esque striker, because everything else is sorted. That's all I want for our club. A balanced squad where we can just keep improving when we want. None of this, we've got massive holes here, got massive holes there. But then, you know what? Let's go buy a striker in Harry Kane and hopefully those holes disappear. No, that's not how it works.
Mate, I could not agree with you more on that. That's my fear of all of it. Just something about it. Do you know the worst part is, mate? I start to get a bit excited. I'm like, Harry Kane, that'd be amazing. But then you start to think about the holes, and it's like I can't allow myself to get sidetracked with these things. Do you know what? The only good thing would be it could stop City or Chelsea from getting him. But do you know what? They'll just go and sign someone else that's a very good goal scorer as well. So it isn't going to solve. A few people saying, yeah, but it stops City. Nah, it's just...
No, but the thing is, look at that. We did that twice already, and look what's happened. We stopped City from getting Alexis Sanchez. Flopped. We stopped City from signing Fred. He has not worked out how we wanted to. So we need, again, we need, as a club, we need to stop doing things, to stop our rivals and to appease the fan. Get what we need.
It shows how insecure it shows how insecure the club is and how badly we're run. It's like, oh, well, we've got our plan, but look at City are doing. So we just copy theirs quickly. Someone was saying this to me the other day. I was listening to a podcast. So someone wasn't saying this to me the other day. I was listening to a podcast and I was saying it to myself. And this guy was talking, and they were talking about this podcast was talking about Joe Rogan, and he was saying how Joe Rogan he has got officially the biggest podcast in the world. He's top stand-up comedian, voice of the UFC. Like, you know what? Considering how he started and the kind of shows and stuff he did, like he's become huge. But he was saying how what he loves about Joe Rogan is how Joe Rogan's doing these things, but Joe Rogan will sit there and praise other podcasters, other comedians, other announcers, people that work in his field. If they're good, he just praises them. And they said it's because Joe Rogan's completely secure within himself. And actually, Joe Rogan's been like that since before he was the biggest. And it's because he's well run. He operates well. He's got his house in order and he knows what he's doing and where he's going. And I look at Man United in the opposite way, where it's like sort of we're this football club who like, oh, we're Man United. We do what we want. We're the best. We're the biggest. But we spend all our time panicking and look, oh, what's everyone else doing? What's everyone else doing? That's the owners I'm talking about there. And it's like, yeah, City are getting Kane. They're going in this direction. Stick to our plan. Be safe and secure in what you're doing and stop focusing negatively on everybody else. And then you're trying to pull the wood, the carpet from under other people's feet. That doesn't help them or you. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like the 2 or 3 signings we've taken away from City have damaged our club, not made us better. You're right. I wouldn't want us doing it. I wouldn't want us doing it again. By the way, I'm not saying Man United should stand up and say, well done to Man City. But the concept is that if you're focused on yourself and securing what you're doing, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. It shouldn't be your main focus. It should be, oh shit, we want to catch them, or I look at other YouTubers and I'm like, I want to be as popular as that. Now it may never happen, but there's no bitterness, there's no anger. You know what I mean?
It's all about you make a move, I make a move. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Like I've said before, like I've seen people develop their shows and do stuff, and it's like, oh, that's very similar to what we do. Fair play to you. I see others come out with things that are completely new and innovative. I'm like, oh, well done. That's great. That's inspired me. I want to try something different and new. But there's no bitterness or no anger there because I'm very comfortable with what I'm doing in the direction that I'm going in. Anyone you see out there that's like either trying to pull the rug from underneath somebody else's feet, or they're bitter and negative and don't ever want to say it's very good. And you see it with Man United fans. We all want to play down how good Chelsea and Man City are to oil money, plastic club, no history. Drop the insecurity and just focus. My attention is on Man United being run better, not trying to undo what Man City are achieving, because there's no mileage in that.
Nah, it's just we need to book of ideas up as a club, and we need to stick with what we want to do. I know that sometimes you can plan to do something and something comes up and you're like, okay, cool, the opportunity is too good. But this opportunity with Harry Kane, it's not a low risk. It's a very high risk. It's a very expensive risk at the expense of the rest of the squad. So for me, it's like it's not worth doing, in my opinion. Also, what's the Arsenal news? People are asking in the
I'm about to go on to that. So Arsenal are linked with a £40 million move. This has come from Charles Watts, and he has said that Arsenal have set up and are ready to submit a £40 million bid for Norwich City attacking midfielder Buendia. I want to gauge Arsenal fans' opinion. Is that the level of play you want? We actually had a United fan phone up earlier, KJ, and say that he would prefer us to sign Buendia to save the money to be able to get Harry Kane. But Buendia to Arsenal, is that good? Is that a good bit of business for the Gooners?
Yeah, I think it is. I've always said that Arsenal should kind of go down a different direction and sign players who are hungry, who want to use Arsenal as a platform to grow. And Buendia seems to be a player who wants to do that. It's proven in the Premier League that he's quality with some of the most chances in the league last year. Granted, he only played for Norwich. This year in the Championship showed that he's too good for that level. And I think Arsenal is the correct step of it, and Arsenal can get him. They really can. I think it improves their team a lot more creativity. You can put him in the number 10. You can put him on the right. He's versatile. He's a quality player, and he works hard and he wants to be better. And that's the main thing I think Arsenal fans should be excited about. It's like he's got the mentality to become more than he is. And at Arsenal right now, I think there's many players who are just happy with the wages, happy just to linger around and just chill. You've got players like Hector Bellerin. He doesn't really want to be a footballer anyway. You know what I mean? So you may as well go get these younger players or these players that want to use Arsenal as a platform to grow the team and get better with it, than trying to sign these mega stars and players that are expensive. Because let's be honest, Arsenal have not got the same kind of resources that Man City, Chelsea, Man United have, and not because they can't get that. It's because the owners don't want to even think about spending that kind of money. So if that's the case, Buendia is actually a very, very good signing.
Yeah, I think he is. He's a player. I'm surprised he's lasted this long at Norwich. Same as Cantwell, to be fair. I thought both those players would have been snapped up. I think he's low risk. 40 million isn't Dan James cheap, but it isn't Pepe exposure. It gives you the opportunity where if it doesn't work, you can still recoup some of that money and reinvest. It isn't gargantuan. You're not bringing him in on silly wages where it's impossible to move on. Having said that, Nicola Pepe's looked quite good in recent weeks. There's a few gooners that think maybe he's going to have a resurgence and a turnaround next year. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I think Buendia would be amazing business for Arsenal Football Club. And as you say, maybe they do need to just reset button. Maybe it's about saying, you know what? Let's look at some, Buendia would be a good signing. I think Danny Ings would be a good signing for them. I think that level of player where you're talking 30, 40 million pound players. Neto is a player they should be looking at. Rafinha would be a player that, and I'm not saying they should sign all these individuals. Calvin is a player they should be looking at. And then it's a case of from that point, you build from there and you come again. You come again as Arsenal Football Club. Yeah. I think trying to sign Jack Grealish is folly. I think you're competing against too many teams for that player who just have more that they can offer right now. Arsenal got the heritage, they've got the fan base, they can offer good money. They don't have Champions League football, and I don't think they can legitimately sell the idea to a player that they'll be challenging for a top four again next season, not with how much better the teams above them are in the Copa.
Look what Fergie used to do. Fergie used to get the base of Premier League proven talent in the team, and then you add the sprinkle of these top quality players on top. They need to raid the Premier League of these players that are clearly good enough to advance themselves at a bigger club, make them the core of the team with Premier League experience, and then go add the sprinkle of Arwa, or go get a foreign talent from a different league after you've got the base.
I agree, and I'm not being salty towards Arsenal. I kind of get what Harry said before. We had Eduardo on a few weeks ago that said that the club has to think big, and I totally get that you should want to sign Grealish. You should want to go out there and sign players of that ilk. But wanting and being able to achieve it at the same time are two very different things. So I wouldn't be putting all my eggs into those baskets. I'd be working on if you've got the opportunity tomorrow to push the go button to sign Buendia over a drawn-out summer saga of chasing Jack Grealish where you're maybe second, third favourites, and then you end up with nothing, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Rebuild this team. Get yourselves back fighting. Get yourselves back competitive. I think John McGinn would improve your midfield. And,
man, great signing.
Legitimate. There's a comment here that says, respect to Terry, KJ, and the Football Terrace for the daily grind, bringing us the latest news every day. Smash the like button. And let me just add, unless we have a journalist on or we say we've been informed, it's always what the media is reporting and stuff like that. We're going to go to some more calls now. We're going to keep KJ on with us. We're going to go to a few more calls.
Yeah, bring on Saif, please, because apparently he wants to educate me.
He wants to educate you. This is gonna be an interesting one, to say the least. Okay, Saif's here with us. What you saying, mate?
Hey, Terry, how are you guys?
Yeah.
First of all, I think Man United need to sell myself, because my plan is I'd love to sign Chelsea. The player I told you about from Juventus is in loan from Fiorentina. Chiesa.
Can you say his name?
Chelsea. I can't pronounce his name.
Chiesa.
Chiesa, yes. Chiesa. Okay.
Chelsea. To me, I would have called him that, by the way, as well, to be fair. But go on, mate. Go on.
Chiesa is a better player than Martial. I would sell Martial and I'll buy Chiesa on the left, because his output range is much better than Marcel and Marcus Rashford. If we sign Sancho on the right hand side, and hopefully we sign Harry Kane, Manchester United would have the best free strikers in the world. Because why? Because we would have two creative players on the wing, and we would have Harry Kane scoring the goals for us. I would keep Cavani. Cavani would come in the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes in the games. And if the game is so tight, then we might play 4 strikers. I don't know what you guys think about Chiesa. Do you think that he's better than Rashford? His output range.
No, I don't think it's better than Rashford because Rashford's got almost like what 36, 37 goal contributions also all season. What Chiesa's are what probably on 15 to 20. So I don't think it's better than Rashford. And also Chiesa's an Italian player. If Juventus want to keep him, which they look like they do, he is not coming to Manchester United anytime soon. He will play for Juve. So
I understand that. But do you not think that than Marcel? Because Marcel, it's a rubbish. Ever since, what has Marcel done for Manchester United?
Martial has won us helped us win the FA Cup, helped us win the Europa League.
What is his upward range?
Huh? Last year he got 23 goals all season. With I think,
as an inside forward, he needs to score 30 to 40 goals a season. His upward range needs to be 20 to 25.
Name me.
Yes.
Name me 5 inside forwards that score 30 to 40 goals a season.
Very easy. Mane. Salah.
That's okay. That's 2. Even though Mane hasn't touched that this year, but okay, go continue.
Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, okay, plays for the same team.
Okay, I would say Rolando.
Who?
Ronaldo.
He's not an inside forward.
Yeah,
and also Rashford hasn't scored 30 goals or 40 goals a season, but okay.
He plays on the left hand side. He's an inside forward.
I've got a better question for you. Sorry, just not better question. Realistic signings for Man United, because you've listed 2 Liverpool players that we're never going to sign. So tell me some inside forwards that Man United could sign who are better than Martial and will score these 30 odd goals. Who are they, bro?
Chiesa would do that.
Why is he not doing it now at his current club?
Because Italian league is one of the toughest leagues that he can play in. Because it's too different.
So the Italian league is harder than the Premier League?
Yes, because it's too slow, it's defensive. The pace of the Italian league, you cannot play the pace of the Italian league like the Premier League. It's totally different. I'm talking to you, Page. I'm trying to educate you when it comes.
But the pace is slow. The pace is slower though, Saif.
Yes, the pace is slower. Yes, I understand. The pace is slower, but how the football played, Chiesa is a really creative player. But because the style of Juventus football play is, they are not that fast up front, so they don't have the players like Manchester United do.
Listen, Saif, it's great points being raised there, mate. We'll speak to you again soon, top man. I don't think most people agreed with him, but there we go. We're going to bring Francis on next. What are you saying, Francis? Oh, are you there?
Smiling. He's showing them 20 minutes, but it's frozen.
Fixer's with us. What are you saying, Fixer?
Hey guys, what's happening?
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I think this whole Harry Kane thing, I think it's gonna be too much. I think we're gonna pay too much for what we'll get back from Harry Kane. That's just my. I would take Harry Kane if it was like an 80 million, but we're gonna pay 120 going upwards, just like really for Harry Kane. And he's already played his best football for Tottenham already. He's not gonna give us all those years he gave to Spurs. That I know for sure.
Well, he can't give us another 28 years. Like 28
No, he can't. But even the 5 years he would give us, it wouldn't be as intense as one he gave Spurs. I'm pretty sure of that, because it's natural decline. He's already got to that apex, and I think now I'm not saying it's going to decline rapidly, but it'll be a long way down.
Yeah, so Fixer, I've got a question for you.
Yeah,
we're looking at signing a CDM called. He's a Getafe midfielder from Uruguay. I forgot. It's like Amabiji or Amabri or something like that. So let me just get a quick Quick
We'll
names.
find out. We'll find out the name eventually. I'm sure it will come up in the reports soon. But I think as CDM we should go for Bissouma. I think that's the guy we should aim for. You know.
No, but
Yeah.
my question is, this Getafe midfielder, is he obscure, a non-obvious signing enough for you for us to sign him?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, for example, I don't know who he is, but obviously his name is being peddled around, which means there's something to him, you know. So it's not like I said, Bissouma is not an obvious signing as such. You know, he's getting slowly obvious because a lot of people are talking about him, but still, he's not still an obvious signing. And in relation to the obvious signing, since you brought it up, last time Terry said Cavani's I don't think Cavani was an obvious signing either because he was about to retire. Nobody was looking at him. It was a risk we took, so I wouldn't call that an obvious signing. So for Manchester is concerned, the obscure signing, the ones that don't have that high reputation at the time we're looking at them are the ones who have turned out to be better than the Herald top signings.
I do hear you. I hear your point on Kane you're making there, mate. Fixer, thanks for calling in, bro. We've got time for one more call. We're gonna get Darren on. Harry, say what you saying, brother?
Hey,
what's good, man? Hey, what you saying, guys? Yeah, how you guys been, man?
Yeah, all good, bro. All good, all
Yeah.
good. What's your take on the Harry Kane news this morning and the Buendia news to Arsenal?
For the Harry Kane news, I don't know. For Man U, I just don't see how you guys will, with all the links you don't have. I don't see you guys going for more than one big signing. And I don't know. I seen on the Discord the other day, some people were very sort of, yeah, we're definitely getting Sancho. Or you Chelsea fans, or you Liverpool fans, you're like excited. There's no way you're getting this, is that. Now that Harry Kane is there for the taking potentially, I don't know. I just don't see how. I can only see you guys just putting all your eggs in one basket. I can't see the Glazers letting you guys spend a mad amount on Kane and Sancho and a midfielder, and I don't see it. You guys are gonna have to either play up with a good budget and just work at a few good signings to bolster the squad, or maybe go for the one big signing, whether it's Sancho or obviously Harry Kane. But even then, we don't know if Levy's gonna be willing to sell. And regarding Arsenal, I think maybe they might just about get that one signing, but I think it's just Kroenke being forced to get one player just to satisfy the fans, if I'm being honest.
Just very, very quickly on this, Fabrizio Romano has tweeted, but it's taken from an interview, Harry Kane and Gary Neville. First tweet says, Harry Kane talking about his future. This is Harry Kane's words. I think there is definitely a conversation to be had. It's a moment where I have to reflect and I have to have a conversation with my chairman. I hope we have a good enough relationship after 16 years. I hope we can have an honest conversation. Harry Kane then goes on to say, I don't know. I mean, he, speaking about Daniel Levy, might want to sell me. He might be thinking, if I could get 100 million for you, then why not? What do you know? Goes, sorry. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be worth that for the next 2 or 3 years. Harry Kane's pulled on a thread. And I've now got, can you not play a guitar in here though, please? Thank you. She goes to get a guitar when I'm working. Bring your kids to work, they say. I feel when I look at it, I feel like Harry Kane spoke about why I think Spurs may have put this £150 million price tag out into the ether to try and put people off. But there's two things Harry Kane has said there. I have a good relationship with Daniel Levy, and I want him to respect me and allow me to leave. Plus, in another year or two, and I said this to Alex last night, and this is where Spurs have to be smart. No matter what they rate him as now, say they think he's worth 150 mil. In 3 years' time, when he's 31 years old,
yeah,
they get more money for him. So there's an element of they may just need to cash in on him now.
Yeah, I can't lie. I do. As much as people are saying, "Oh, Levy will never sell to this and never sell," I honestly think he'll sell. The guy Levy, he appreciates money and he knows how much, especially in this climate of the pandemic and all of that. And Tottenham not making top four, they need the money. He'll sell, and other clubs will come in hard for Kane. I don't doubt that at all. I think obviously he's going to play hardball. He's going to try to get a couple clubs to fight for him. Chelsea being one of them. Man U, I think sensibly you'd want to go for him as well, despite extending Cavani's contract. Even City, I think City apparently are trying to look at him hard because why not? Like, he's one of the best strikers in the world. Why wouldn't you want Kane in your team? So I think, yeah.
I totally agree. So another tweet's come out. Sorry to interject. Another Harry Kane has said is, I want to play in the Champions League. I'm not desperate to do anything. I just want to be playing in the biggest games. I've said before, I'd never say that I'd stay at Tottenham for the rest of my career. I'd never say that I would leave Spurs. So he's playing it kind of cool, but that Champions League comment is, I want to be in the Champions League. That's where he wants to be. But gentlemen, look, I've got to chip because the baby's woken up. I've got proper daddy duties to take care of now, so I've got to go look after little man Jackson. Lunchtime as well, so I've got to feed the animals at the zoo. It's as simple as that. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you. I will be back later on today. I don't quite know yet. I may have to ask one of my wonderful hosts to step in and cover a show for me this afternoon if the kids are on too much of a madness. So I'll keep you all posted. But until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again.